Well, cricket, what are they doing? Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to have you here.
Yeah, good to have you too. Thank you.
Now, your federation is actually going around schools, secondary schools and primary schools to actually ensure that where cricket is one of the big games the children will be playing. Tell us more about this.
Well, that's part of the federation's initiative in socializing the game back again in Nigeria. So one of those steps is actually going back to primary schools, secondary schools, and teaching them game, and at the same time creating that platform where they can play the game continually. That is what we are currently doing right now.
Okay. How do you also get trainers? All the other elements of the game. Talk about coaches, people who understand the rules of the game. Does all of these things you're doing involve that aspect as well?
Of course, the federation has series of programs
Okay.
which is geared towards cricket development, not only teaching the people how to play the game, but at the same time creating human capacity that will drive the development, which is of coaches, a lot of administrators, and then those coaches in turn will now be the trainers. Those are part of our federation initiative. So we have a compassing plan, which spans from coaching, clinic, the coaching courses for coaches as well, in creating the whole scenario which you are seeing today. The Cricket Federation in making sure that cricket.
Okay.
We're kind of losing him right now. Okay, if you can
You can still hear us.
Okay,
Okay, I think you can still hear us, definitely. You can still hear us.
Okay, let's talk about this. Most of the time, the media has always been accused of not, doing enough to promote, quotes now, lesser sports. But the argument we always give is that sometimes, federations like yours don't really give us much to say. But what's your position on this? Is it that the media is not promoting the sport, or that the federation really don't give, outline their activities in a way that it can be talked about?
I don't believe in the whole idea of lesser sports, because today there's no sports that is less than any other one.
Okay.
Every sport has an international pathway that creates job, creates employment, gainful employment. So the idea of lesser sport, I think, is used to be used in the past. It's no longer there. For your information, cricket is the second. I keep on saying it's just sports today that is paying. Same time, creating a whole lot of job opportunities, keeping youth off the street, and also creating a lot of activities for a growing child. So the whole idea of lesser sports is no longer there anymore. What we are doing in cricket is to stimulate spectatorship.
Okay.
Yes, create enabling environment. As you see, currently we are building an international stadium. So reaching out to international bodies who are willing to help us to create the game. Today, like sports is no longer an entertainment. It's basically a profit and loss business. And a lot of people, our international organization, which is ICC, is so much keen in Nigeria, and that's why you are seeing the development effort geared towards creating spectatorship, which will in turn drive the game eventually.
Okay.
All right, tell us more about the elementary coaching course, and of course the coaching clinic that the NCF is already, has already conducted in some parts of the country. I understand that Lagos State's, the one for Lagos State has already been postponed. What's in the works for that?
Well, the one for Lagos is coming at the end of the month. We actually had a trial run for Lagos, which we felt wasn't that encompassing, so we decided to repeat it. And it's going to be coming up in end of the month. But currently, we have done similar ones in the Northwest, North Central, Southeast, South, and it was remarkable. Recently, we also done one in Ekiti State, where we had over 400 children coming around, and they were taught the basic knowledge of the game. We are not stopping at anything. The whole idea is to make sure that this game stays in the memory of a growing child. This game is very, very critical for a growing child in the sense that it teaches you to be resilient, it teaches you to be perseverance, it also teaches you to be very, very mathematical conscious. So we are inculcating those ideologies in a growing child. So it's a huge opportunity for us today. We are also doing, creating the next step of it now. Will see us in competition between primary schools and secondary schools. Like cricket is already back in the secondary school sports, and we are looking forward for the next cricket event, next secondary school sports event, which we hear is coming up in Akwa Ibom. So we are doing quite a whole lot to make sure that this game is coming back to where it used to be back in the days. So we will continue to do what we're doing, and we will not stop at anything. We will also making sure that this is continuous. We want to make sure that thing does not just stop at one-stop shop. So we have created plans, to make sure that there's coaching clinic. Coaching clinic is the idea of preparing against master the knowledge of the game, so that in turn he can pass or she can pass that same knowledge to a growing child. So that's what the coaching clinic is all about.
Now, talking about infrastructure, that's usually the biggest problem we face most times. If you check most schools in Nigeria, it's difficult for them to actually have a playing ground, so to speak. So how can they actually, harness their talents when they don't really have the field, to test what they have learned?
Well, at that level, we don't expect them to play in an international pitch. The football pitch can actually suffice for that level of cricket. Today, cricket is played in a very small space that you see. The game has been miniatured from what you used to know back in the days, where people play for days, where you can have a game a full game for 3 hours. So the infrastructure being a limitation, but at that level, it's not really a limitation because you can actually use any space to play cricket at that level. We're only talking about when it comes to the adults, when it comes to the the grown-ups, that's where we are lacking, and that's where we actually putting a lot of effort to make sure that we have international reputable pitches all over the country that will cater for that category of cricket as well.
Thank you very much for talking to us this morning live from Abuja. Hopefully we get to see that of Lagos, and we get to know what they've been able to impart on those keys that they will be coaching and of course training for the game of cricket.